Hello, everyone, and we are coming to portfolio review session, and I want to welcome Gavin, Viktoria, and Alitt with us today. Unfortunately, it's a flu season here in Finland, so Tuomas, who helped us to set up the panel, was not able to join, but we have a lot of people, and actually we got a lot of questions. So I will be hosting the panel, and that will leave a little bit more time to ask some tricky questions from the recruitment perspective. But before that, maybe we start with a round of introductions. And Viktoria, maybe you want to start. Viktoria?
I think Viktoria might not hear us.
Okay, let's go. Alitt?
Sure, I'll go first. Hey everybody. First off, Oleg and team, thanks for having me here. Happy to be here. And I can start with just a short intro to myself and what I've done. So I'm Alitt. I'm based in Mark. I work for Unity. I've been at Unity for 3.5 years now, and at Unity I look after teams of artists and creatives that we call the games production team. We work on sample games and we validate technology workflows. And at the end of the day, the mission is always to help our users make more fun, higher quality, beautiful, successful games with Unity. Before joining Unity, I was at EA in Sweden, looking after the art direction of the Need for Speed franchise. And before that, I was at Ubisoft in Singapore, working on the Assassin's Creed franchise. So I've been in the game industry for a while now. Always loved it. Will always be here. And again, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'll pass the microphone to Gavin.
Hello, my name's Gavin Whelan. I'm the Senior Art Director here at Funcom Oslo. But I got my hands involved in all the different little studios across the world. We have studios in North Carolina. We have a studio in Lisbon. We're opening smaller studios in other areas like Newcastle in the north of England. And in Romania, we're setting up a large studio there. So yeah, we're kind of busy at the moment. Gosh, when did I start? I started back in 1995 in games. Strangely enough, for Funcom. They brought me over. They had a studio in Dublin at the time, and they flew me over for 3 weeks training. And I stayed for quite a long time. I met my wife here, and that was the thing. They got the wife trap. So I ended up staying in Oslo for a while. I moved into different areas. My original training was in 2D animation. So I did games for about a year, then moved it back into animation for a while. Then I went to England and I started working for Gremlin Interactive, who are a kind of old school game company. They were bought up by Infogrames, Atari, worked for Reflections in Newcastle for a while. And then Funcom, the pull of Funcom in Norway pulled me back again. So here I've been for 17 years working for Funcom. And yeah, very happy to be here and doing this. And it's thank you for the invitation to reach out to people and answer some questions, because portfolio, it's the first contact we have with future employees, and it's such an important part, and it's something I care passionately about. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Gavin. I'll continue. So my name is Viktoria. I'm an executive at 80 Level, and you probably know 80 Level is a media portal where you can learn different new workflows, different stuff from game dev industry, where you can discuss and share your experience. And about a year ago, we created our own talent platform where we are aiming at helping game developers and creative talents to find each other, and we want to help you. And every day we receive new applications from different specialists. So if you need to have get an invite code. So we review up to 100 portfolios every week, and so we are working as the first line on the pre-screening stage to help developers find their dream talent and to help talent find their dream job. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introductions. I have a first question from us as the recruiters, maybe more to Alitt and Gavin. When you receive the applications to the art roles you're looking for, how important is it for the candidate to have a resume or a LinkedIn along with the application? Do you look at it?
Gavin, you want to take this?
Yeah, I mean, it's still very important. As I was discussing with some other people, you get people who've been in the industry for many years, and they've been working AAA studios, and they haven't really been good at updating their portfolios. So sometimes you get something which has hints of quality, but it's very thin. And then you look at the resume, and you can see that they've been working for 5 or 6 years at a AAA studio, and just go, okay, well, maybe they're locked in by NDA or something. So we make sure we check both.
Yep, definitely agree with Gavin there. And we chatted a little bit about this as well, where when was the last time we updated our portfolio? And it's true. Sometimes you've been so busy focusing on the projects at hand, right? And you're putting all your time there, and you move to the next one, and that's the beauty of the game industry as well. That there's always new things, there's always new adventures, new technologies as well. So you're always at the front of things. So it's not like something we would ignore. LinkedIn is very important. For me, at least, I will always ask my recruiter, oh, here's an ArtStation link. Cool. Where can I see the LinkedIn as well? Or sometimes they send me the LinkedIn first, and then I go hunt them on the ArtStation or Behance or somewhere.
Cool. The reason I'm asking is that when we got over 2,000 applicants, and I think we admitted about 1,600 to join us these events, and I see very beautiful portfolios. We have a LinkedIn link there, but they keep on putting this like portfolio. So it's very interesting for me as from the recruitment perspective to ask. But going to the portfolios, first question: how long does it take you to know if a portfolio is good enough to explore further? When you receive the portfolio, or you look at it, let's say for the application, or you just happens to somebody refers somebody to you, how long do you think it would take you to know if the portfolio is good enough for you to look deeper?
It's actually a very interesting question for me as well, because we are helping developers on the pre-screening stage. So I will mostly focus on this stage. And as you know, we can receive a bunch of portfolios at one time, and recruiters or us, we need to go through 20, 40, 100 portfolios at once. And of course, it's after a while, it takes only a few minutes to understand if the portfolio is good enough or not. And for recruiters, I think it takes like only a couple of minutes, even seconds. And what about art directors? How many portfolios do you see? Do you have this pre-screening stage before you get portfolio links, or you need to go through the whole list? How is it happening?
I guess I can answer that one. We try to divide the work between myself and maybe 4 very trusted senior people. So if it's 3D art, I'll hand it to the 3D art lead, he has more knowledge than I'll ever have on 3D. So between the group of us, we try to filter through stuff as quickly as we can. I will look through a lot of the concept portfolios, and we get a lot. So Sunday evening, I try to go through about 40 of them. So you do train yourself to stop, because you can very quickly make a judgment call on something. It can take 3 seconds. You can look at something and make a judgment in 3 seconds whether the portfolio is very bad. It's easy to notice that, or also very, very good. You can get people, this is AAA. I'm very impressed. I want to spend a lot of time looking at these portfolios, but it's good. Move them into the next stage, move them forward in the process. It's the people who are mid-level or very junior, but they have something. They have that little hint of something, a little hint of quality. These are the ones you spend time on. And certainly with mid-level people, I will go and I'll get as many opinions as possible. I'll get 2 or 3 second opinions on a portfolio. We will spend our time talking about them. So those ones are trickier to filter through, and those are the ones we spend more time on, because we want to get the right people and put them in the right position where they can succeed. And it's also the same thing with junior people who have no experience whatsoever. They have no game experience. Occasionally you find a gem hidden amongst them where somebody has just a hint of ability, a skill that you're looking for. You see the quality and you go, this is kind of a cool thing. These are my favorite ones to find. We've had 1 or 2 of them in the past, and they've just gone on to become very successful, very skilled artists. So those you need to also check for. So it's easy to hammer through them very quickly, but you need to slow down. You need to sort of take your time and look, and really look. And yeah, it's not a straightforward thing.
How about Alitt? How long you look at the portfolio?
Yeah, usually pretty quick, but we do have processes set up. At least at Unity, I work closely with the recruiter. I brief them on the roles, what is it I'm looking for. They're super helpful in being the filter for me. But still, I take my own initiative as well sometimes to go look around, bookmark a few portfolios and then quickly run through them, filter them. The ones that I felt like, yeah, this one would fit the roles. I would then pass it to some of my teams who will potentially work the closest with that specific role. But at the same time, sometimes as I'm browsing through, let's say we take ArtStation, let's say I'm looking for a character artist, but you do stumble across like some cool concept art that they use. I pick those, I put it in my vault, so to speak, so that we always know we will always find need to find talent, and we will always want to find the best talents as well. So we usually wouldn't want to just go, oh, now we need a character artist, go find it again and again. So we built that vault as well, like my short list, I call it. But usually it's quick to go into the first short list, quick. But after that, like Gavin mentioned, yeah, then you kind of stack rank them. Okay, senior level, mid level, junior level, and then you have to spend time.
Do you have like, maybe can you name 2 or 3 elements that would catch your eye to spend more time, like digging deeper when you look at it for the first time? 2 or 3 elements in a portfolio that would catch your eye that you would spend more time.
I think with the whole current landscape of where portfolios are today, right? Like before, I don't know when ArtStation started, but today with ArtStation, Behance, all these new platforms, it's almost like a social platform as well, where you see the thumbnails, right? And then you get interested. It's kind of like if you watch YouTube, right? If you ask a YouTuber, it's that video thumbnail they spend effort on as well, as much as the content they build. So yeah, I go and I see those first. If I see something interesting, it kind of leads me to that, going deeper, seeing more of the work. I think that's where, at least for me, where I see it attracts me. I don't know if Gavin has a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's that first reaction, that first when you like ArtStation page, you see all the images in once, and you go, okay, well this is interesting. and you feel that sort of technical ability. You can see the skill that the person has instantly, and then you start looking into it a little bit closer, and you look for things like their general creativity, because how many tanks in the world can you design? How many spaceships? A lot of this stuff has been done already, but what does this person bring to it? What's their own little take on it? What's their little interpretation of it? Same with drawing, with design, with concept art. You're looking for somebody who can do more than just, it's the same old concept I've seen about 50, 60 times. I want to see something that's a little bit new, a little bit inventive, because really a concept artist is, you're a creator of ideas, first and foremost. So that's what I'm looking from a concept artist. Another thing it's nice to have, it's not necessarily essential, because we are looking, I mean, we have a lot of roles open and we're trying to fill a lot of these, and they're very specific positions, but being able to see somebody's flexibility, do they do other things beyond just, I'm a 3D character artist, do they experiment in other areas? It's just nice to see that a person's learning and trying and experimenting with new things. So yeah, it's nice to see that sort of, it's part of it. It all feeds back into the creative process. It's nice to see that.
Gavin, can I ask you then something? Are you looking more for the portfolios that match the position, or?
Yes, I think certainly at the screening stage, we look at, sometimes we get portfolios which are a little bit muddled, and you can't quite tell what a person's interested in. They get some concept art, some 3D art, some environment art, and it's a bit too confused. But if like 80% of the work is character concept, I know this is the person I'm looking for. This is the person who's interested in a character concept, as opposed to environmental concept, as opposed to character 3D art, as opposed to doing vehicles. It's nice to know. It's nice to know that they love doing what they do enough to spend so much time doing it. So yeah, it really helps with the screening process, because we do try to put people into those categories, unfortunately, but we have to fill these positions, and we have to put the right people in the right job.
Cool. So first impression, consistency and clarity, right? And maybe then actually my next question would be, maybe Alitt, I can address it to you and then go with the rest. Do you prefer to see generalized or specialized portfolio when you're looking for a talent, let's say for a specific role?
I'd say specialized. If you're asking specific role, right? So let's say the role is we need to find an environment artist who's experiencing world building and level art, and maybe at the same time build his or her own little bits of scene tooling or something. Yeah, I would go there and look at a specialized portfolio. But it's also good to see that they have a few glimpses of some generalization of their skill set. Like if they show the scene, maybe it's I don't know, a tomb or a temple, with a lot of overgrowth and stuff, and say, oh yeah, I also did these thumbnail sketches. I've done my benchmarking on this specific areas, and I ended up with this particular choice. To see the process is also valuable. The artist might also say, yeah, I did the VFX for these things as well, and a bit of lighting, and present it in not just screenshots. Maybe he or she did a little bit of cinematography in that. A lot of commercially available engines today allows artists to do these kind of things, right? Back in the days, you had to learn Maya, all these other specific tools. You can't do it in an engine. Today you can. You can literally almost make a short film with an engine of your choice. So use the general stuff to show your specialization is awesome, right? Because that would make you stand out. In the worlds of today, there's just like what Gavin said, 50 concept of the same tank, or 50 model of the same tank, or 50 screenshots of the same canyon or temple, what makes yours, stand out from the rest?
What about Gavin? Generalized or specialized?
It's going to be specialized. The size of studio we are, we need people in very specific roles, and we need to know that they're gonna succeed in that role. So yeah, all the same things apply. We're looking for. I think the only probably exception might be technical artist, where you're looking for somebody who can do lighting, who can do several VFX. It's different sort of disciplines wrapped into one. So there, kind of a little bit more generality is useful. But the vast majority of the positions are, character artist, 3D character artist, environment artist, and you're looking for somebody who's able to work with those with this specific role. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking for.
Viktoria, when you receive and review the portfolios, do you see more generalized or specialized in your process?
Well, we receive mostly like links to social media, and of course, people want to share different artworks there. And most of the time, I would say that these portfolios are more generalized, because people like it's okay when you want to build connections, when you want to find like-minded people. It's okay when you try to share that you are good in different areas, and that's totally fine. But when we talk with recruiters and experts, we understand that they are looking for specific skills and specific examples to the position they are. So they want to see, first of all, examples of artworks that can match the position. That's why it's very important when you're trying to applying for a job. It's very important to put the top artworks, the best artworks that match the position on the top of the portfolio. And probably then you can describe that you're good in something else. And this is the difference between social media, like showcases, and the application to the job. I think there should be different portfolios, different way you represent your art, your style, your tools, and artworks. So I would say when you're applying to a job, focus on something that you're best at, and try to find those examples that will support you and that you match the position.
I have a question then. Let's if the artist has multiple skill, right? 2D, 3D texture, for instance, should he or she reflect that in a portfolio? I think it's like maybe to Alitt and Gavin, for instance, for a certain position, should he or she reflect these multiple skills in a portfolio, or should they keep the portfolio focused to the position?
Sorry.
Yes, I think so. I was looking at a portfolio this morning for a senior concept artist, and he showed that he knew how to do material work. And this sort of direction where you're able to talk to an artist and give hands-on guidance about what you would like to have and talk in the language that a material artist would understand is very useful for that position. So yeah, sure. It's good to try to show as many of your skills, but like Viktoria said, the one that you really want to work on, go put that at the top of the board, and we will judge it, and we'll understand what sort of person you are and what position you want to fill from that.
To build on a little bit on that is understanding the workflow of your fellow soon to be teammates, right? Because you will work with other people of different discipline. So if I took Gavin's example of the concept artist that could do material work, and potentially he could also use maybe Blender or Max or Maya to block out his scenes before he paints over them, right? It's awesome because then, as much as he can talk to the 3D artists and the shader artists, he empathizes with them as well. Because sometimes, you know, you can solve a lot of friction, because there's a lot of friction when we make games or when we're in the creative space. Then you can say, okay, should I concept this way? But if I did, you know, it might cause the level artist or the shader artist to pull their hair out because I've pushed too far. Even though, yes, concept art, you want to push as far as you can, right? With the vision and the visuals. So yeah, I would say yes. If you know all these other skills, show them. But as Gavin and Viktoria mentioned, show first what you're really, really good at. And then show the rest that you understand the concepts of the rest, right? 2D, animation, VFX.
Should the portfolio contain unfinished work, things you are working on, like currently?
I like seeing unfinished work. I like seeing half finished, and like it was mentioned, you know, understanding and seeing the work process of an artist is really, really valuable. Seeing finished art is, you know, it's nice. You understand where they want to take something, but as an art director, it's nice to see thumbnails of blockouts and understand their work process, because they're the directable moments. They're the moments when I would be looking at something half finished, work in progress work, and we'd be discussing it. And, you know, is this person directable, you know, or do they, you know, leave me alone. I'm going to come up with my beautiful painting and this is what you're going to get. You know, it's a process. It's a communication between art director and artist a lot of the time, or multiple groups of people. It is like understanding what you know, what are the limitations of a 3D model? What are the limitations on a character model? You need to understand these. You need to have this sort of conversation. So, you know, being able to sort of show that thought process is valuable. And unfinished work, you know, that's just it's gotten to a point where it hasn't been polished, where it's been stopped. But generally, keep it to a minimum is what I would say with unfinished work. But I have no problem looking at stuff that's kind of half done, or sketches, simple stuff.
Alitt, do you want to comment on that from your perspective?
I agree completely with Gavin. Yes, I love seeing whips, unfinished work. And sometimes you can also see unfinished work, but then you see the other parts of this artist portfolio that you kind of see glimpses of the unfinished work. So maybe the unfinished work inspired the finished ones as well. So you can see how they think and how they take ideas, because, you know, a lot of you probably heard this before, ideas are cheap, but finishing and delivering is the most expensive thing, right? Yeah, so that's how I see it.
I think that's, oh, sorry, Alitt. I think that it's like the main point is that if you understand, if you think that it's this artwork, this project is good enough to present it, even if it's not finished, it's a good point to do that. Well, you always need to like find a balance, and you can show anything you want if you think that it will work, and your recruiter and art director or the developer will understand your skills, that you match the position with this work in progress artwork. That's also fine. Just find a balance.
How about should the portfolio only include your own work, or the context if you worked on something?
Generally, yes. But there are times when you work in collaboration with several artists, and that is very useful. I was looking at a portfolio, and it was part of an interview, and they had a mech, and he said, yeah, I worked on this in a collaboration with 4 other artists. And we all kind of, you know, we all sat up and we were like, okay, now talk me through what you worked on, and you know, how did you communicate, and how did you work through the process with these other artists? And because the end result looked good, it felt like it was one single person that made it, but you know, it was a good example of how this person would adapt in a team. So sometimes it's useful as long as you make it clear, you know, what your role in it was. Unfortunately, I see some images from games, and they put this up as a portfolio, and they don't illustrate or they don't inform me about what they worked on, and I'm just going, okay, I don't know if this is 80% the work of a senior person, and this person's doing the trash can on the corner. You know, I can't really judge the portfolio on that. So this happens from time to time. So, you know, wherever possible, comment on it and highlight it.
Alitt, your comment on that? What do you think?
Yeah, today, if it's a professional portfolio, it's quite hard, right? To just show, if you're an environment artist, the best way to show it is screenshot from the game or a video capture from a cinematics. If you're a character artist, maybe it's easier, right? That you can take out your character and just say, yep, line it up, do a turntable and stuff. But I think the trend I see nowadays on at least on ArtStation or on social, you can easily credit as well people, right? Like I made this character from this concept art from this person. You can just tag the person, so if, we would know this artist focused on the wardrobes only because the base mesh was provided by this other artist, or this animator did this super awesome Ninja Turtle animation, but the model was provided by this other artist. And you know what's cool about that is that you use to also go through the community. I think the beauty of this is the community of the artist, right? So you go, oh, I was looking at this animation, but apparently the character modeling of this was really good as well. So it helps each other as well. But yes, credit people. Context is, I think, what Gavin was pointing towards as well. If you did the trash can, you know, say you did the trash can. If you did everything but the trash can, say you did not do the trash can. Both ways. That's what I can say.
Cool. All right. Let's try something new this time, and I will share a few portfolios. We got a lot of actually portfolios sent to us. We couldn't process all of them, but let me share a couple of portfolios and maybe get your comments on those. We have Alexander, and we're now looking at his portfolio, and would you like to comment one or two things you liked about it and what maybe could be improved?
I like the car. It showed there's one of the skills of a 3D artist is discipline. You need to sort of follow even if it's a pre-existing model, a pre-existing item, you still have to sort of replicate that as well as you can. And it seems here that they've done a very, very nice job. And even if there's some stylization going on, it's still in the spirit of what the model should be. So yeah, it's pretty nice. It's nice, generally nice model overall. So this stuff is, it's part of the, we talk about creativity a lot, but sometimes it's the discipline side of being a 3D artist is trying to replicate something. Yeah. So this was pretty nice.
It's also really well presented, like the presentation of each image of each artwork is really good, like the light and the position of the model.
Oh, like, is this, because I remember going through this artist's works. If you scroll all the way down on that car shot, the car, is that the last bit? Oh yeah, yeah, it was kind of nice. He lined it up. He explained a little bit. I wish he mentioned a bit more on, and this is very interesting. I just came out of a meeting earlier today with some tech teams, and they say, yeah, artists, they think a triangle solves everything for performance. It does not, right? If you are really want to show more, you can also say, okay, how many materials you use? What is your, shader type? Is it, so that when we hire, at least from my point of view, I also want to understand, does this artist, understand and respects the technicalities of the work itself? when it gets ingested into the project, right? So it would be great to see that as well. But overall, it's really good and well presented.
Yeah, I think that sort of information definitely at senior level. The more you can give, the better. But it's still, you know, if this was a mid-level or junior artist, I'd still be very, very happy to see some of this. Yeah.
Wasn't there a screenshot of the car in the game, in somewhere, probably, or not?
Maybe no, not.
Okay.
That was actually that was my next question, because we spoke about that context where it's used, and I wanted to ask that, but you spotted right. So I think,
which I wished I could see that. Like, where was this bright red van used? Is it a playable one? Is it a parked van fitting into a composition of a scene? Something about it, right? A little bit more of the use.
Yeah, understood, Alexander. You want to look at any other artwork from this portfolio?
Let me see. I don't know, is this arranged based on the date of the most recent? I'd assume so, right? If it is, then I would say, yeah, he did some character work on the RTS game, did Crusader Kings. That one, yeah, that one caught my attention. Crusader Kings 3. It's a great game as well. Not that I'm good at it, but I watch other people play it. And I also know the type of art direction of that game, and it's really unique and memorable. And this is really great to see that he showed a work sample from a game that shows a unique art direction, because it's not a generic looking character, right? It's not like trying to do the digital human look or hyper realistic. It's a very unique art style that he did and worked on.
It seems
Gavin,
like
Viktoria, want to comment?
Yeah, it seems like there are different directions, and when we're looking for the portfolio from the beginning, from the top to the bottom, I understood that I can't get what's the direction right now that the artist choose. Like, would he like to do character direction, or any other, or props, or environment? It's kind of what was talking about, the focus. I would like to see maybe what's the focus right now.
My gut feeling was that he's more interested in the props and vehicle work, because it's near the top. You can see the quality work. Yeah. Even though the other stuff at the bottom, the character stuff, it's nice, but you can see it's where he wants to go seems to be implied at the top with the higher quality work.
Yeah, like if you pick the knife shot, that one was quite interesting as well, and the gun, and even the one beside the car. I don't know what is it. Is it a radio?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of attention to detail to actually put time in crafting it.
Yeah, it's like with the character stuff. This is what I had to do. And up top, this is what I like to do, and this is what I can do. This is my skill set, and I'm showing off a little bit here, but that's a good thing. Don't be modest at the top of the screen. Yeah.
Maybe a brief look at the next one. It's quite different.
Yeah.
Scan the life.
Yeah, a lot of photogrammetry, scanning of things, which is useful for certain. I mean, we're starting to do a lot of that on our project, where we're trying to capture different regions of the world. Now, starting with like the Wadi Rum Desert for the June game, we're trying to get a lot of high quality, high detail work in the studio at the moment, and some of this knowledge is very useful. But I would generally have liked to see a little bit more of his actual modeling skills.
Mm-hmm.
If we open, as far as I remember, if we open any of these artworks, there will be a lot of details about the process, and I think this is the best way to represent these photogrammetry works.
Yeah.
Show the tech.
The process.
The process, right? Yeah. I think it's really important in these types of works.
Yeah, he's picked something that's very hard to do. This sort of high detail mosaic sculpture. It's nice. I was impressed by it.
Which is a really good point, right? Like a lot of people always get a bit confused maybe on why should I scan versus why should I build, but with ZBrush and stuff. And yes, if you give this to a digital artist, they go like, are you for real? You want me to? I mean, some of them would, but if you can do this and with the technology and hardware today to photo scan this, do photogrammetry on this, and it would take like a day, and then process it, retopo, bake all the maps and all that, spit it out. It's fast.
Look, I think we got. I think we're unfortunately running a little bit out of time. So we got a lot of portfolios, and thank you very much, I think, for that discussion. I have a last question that I would like to ask before we need to wrap up. Maybe if applying to you, Gavin, and you, Alitt, for a position, what are the must-haves in the portfolio that if someone applies to you, what would be, or rather maybe an advice to the artists that apply to your positions?
I have a very short one, and maybe Gavin has a longer one. For me, read the job description that is posted. Understand the company, the studio, because it will paint you a better picture so that you know you will not waste your own time applying, prepping your portfolio, right? And I think that's very important for me. That's my short answer.
Yes, that's and that covers a lot of what I was going to say. Certainly understanding the game, understanding the type of company we are. I mean, that said, I mean, we do make several different styles of game, but generally we're looking sort of for the AAA high quality game at the moment. June is the main one that we're working on at the moment. We have like 30 positions open, and if you just spam every single one of those, I mean, these are just art positions. So 30 different art positions open. If you spam all of those with the same portfolio, we're going to recognize you eventually and just go, oh, it's him again.
We do. That happens, right? Our system, I can see how many positions this same person applies, and I can literally see in our system.
Yeah, and I understand if people they just want to get their first job. They want to get their foot in the door, and I appreciate that. I was there myself a long time ago. But really, it's persevere with the skill that you think you're best at, and you will get recognized eventually. So yeah, just apply for the right position is probably the first thing I would say.
Yeah. Victoria, and maybe the final words from you, because you look at the portfolios, those talents that apply to publish their portfolios on level 80. Maybe an advice from you, and those that get selected by the studios.
It's actually really connected with the comments that you guys said, because the aim of the service is to help talents to find their job. So when you showcase your artworks, when you apply to a specific job, pick up the right, portfolio. You can create different portfolios. You can organize them in different ways, but pick up the right one for the right position, and you can create different types of different pages and represent yourself in different ways. If you want to apply, for example, to kind of different positions, not in one company, probably in different companies, but read the job description carefully and try to match it as if you can represent it to help
as much as possible in your application. Yes.
Yes.
We had the sessions today also with the recruiters from the studios, and yeah, we discussed that a lot. And from us, from the recruiters, I feel you. But with that being said, I want to thank all of you. Next time we just